short statement. The Crown Prosecution Service's decision today is deeply regrettable.
I didn't show the police the amount of respect I should have done. We should all respect the police. They do an incredibly difficult job.
There's no easy way to say this. We made a pledge, we didn't stick to it, and for that I am sorry.
I think my staff have had to answer a lot of questions about horses. Let me try and shed some light on that.
What will historians make of the politics of 2012, I wonder, if we can still afford historians to form an opinion? Will they see it as the year in which, after a faltering start as Labour leader, Ed Miliband finally found his feet?
Now breaking another promise on capping excessive fees.
Or will they see it as the year in which Nick Clegg found his feet, bottomed out, despite those dreadful election results and opinion polls? There again, is it the year of the omnishambles?
So when were you told?
We had a collective discussion of that in due course, and although I can't, give you the sort of full gory details
did it happen
of political
today?
Processes, I can't sit here and tell you.
You can't remember?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Prime Minister, an omnishambles of a budget you claimed you'd read.
Then things really began to come unstuck. And to the left! A tax giveaway for the highest earners. He cut the 50p rate to 45p to encourage them to pay it. Was going to be funded by benefit claimants, of course, by motorists, as usual, by people owning fixed parked caravans made in Hull, and most flamboyantly of all, by pasty eaters.
And the Chancellor's excuse, well, he says you can buy them cold and you can avoid the tax.
The feral beasts of Fleet Street, never slow to abandon last year's hero, had a field day, and very soon there were rethinks on badgers and forests and petrol taxes and caravans and even on the humble pasty. What could possibly go wrong after that?
My interpretation of the advice was that I should not involve myself in a quasi-judicial process that's being run by another Secretary of State.
Lord Justice Leveson had already started his inquiry in 2011, but in 2012, the big guns of politics, the police and the media started getting into the frame, giving evidence in Court 73 at the High Court in the Strand. Murdoch himself.
All politicians of all sides like to have their views known by the editors of newspapers. That's the game.
Mr. Cameron attended a mulled wine mince pie party at my sister-in-law's.
And they'd exchanged text messages which he'd signed LOL. He thought it meant lots of love. So did I.
Actually, until I told him it meant laugh out loud, and then he didn't sign them like that anymore.
I have to admit that perhaps I've been overusing my mobile phone, but at least as Prime Minister I know how to use a mobile phone rather than just throw it at the people who work for me. So,
Well, the politicians had a bad year, but the royals had a very good year. The Queen's Jubilee delivered the sort of thing the British establishment does very well. Balmy outfits, terribly weather, very good show. Queen going down the river in that silly barge in the teeth of an appalling gale, and then...
There's a guy called Mitt Romney who wants to know whether we're ready. He wants to know whether we're ready. Are we ready? Are we ready? Yes, we are. The venues are ready. The stadium is ready. The aquatic centre is ready. The velodrome is ready. The security is ready. The police are ready. The transport system is ready.
For Boris Johnson, absolute magic, and it will reinforce that little hope he nurses of moving into that building over there. In the uncharted waters of coalition politics, it's a bit of a tough year for Nick Clegg. His office is in the building somewhere over my shoulder.
Dealing with a deficit can sound like a very kind of dry statistical exercise. In my experience, if you're being attacked by Liam Fox from one side and Ed Balls from the other, you're in the right place, by the way.
But the high point of his year was artistic. Someone put his tuition fees apology to music.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. There's no easy way to say I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
To his credit, Clegg even managed to laugh about it. That's progress too. He didn't laugh half as much as they did in Ed Miliband's office. Labour hopes to be the chief beneficiary of coalition misfortunes.
Tax cuts for millionaires, double dip recession, U-turn after U-turn after U-turn isn't the truth. He didn't just lose the confidence of his party last night, he's losing the confidence of the country.
He made a barnstorming, no notes, look mum, no hands speech at the Labour Party conference.
Disraeli called it one nation. One nation. We heard the phrase again as the country came together to defeat fascism. One nation, a country where prosperity is fairly shared. One nation, where we have a shared destiny, a sense of shared endeavour, and a common life that we lead together.
We end the year as we started it, circling storm clouds.
This country today is in the economic equivalent of war, and we need the same spirit. We need to forget about crossing every T, dotting every I. We need to throw everything we've got at winning in this global race.
The eurozone has been in crisis all year. It's far from being resolved. Are we in or are we out? Plenty of people behind me in Parliament want us to be out. What he would have made of it, heaven only knows. But he would have said, just keep buggering on. And that's what we'll all have to do in 2013. Thanks.
Thank you.